Good evening, good night, hello. I'm Nobody, your storyteller, narrator, and number one fan. And this is, without a shadow of a doubt, All of Us Sinners, Season 2, Episode 4, Rescue from Without. I'd like to extend our thanks for your time, your efforts, your energies, and hopefully you will enjoy the shenanigans of this coterie of sinners as much as we hope to. Thank you. Welcome. How we doing?
Oh yeah, everything's way clearer now.
Welcome. Well, Penny, if you're saying anything, it is not coming through. Welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Just the usual, it seems. Just the usual. It is Wednesday. There's a few minutes outside of hard start. And as such, because I didn't quite get a chance to properly damage my vocal cords and lungs and all that good stuff, if you'll be so kind as to give me just a few quick moments and I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that, folks. A little vice was calling and I had put it off for far too long. We are just a couple minutes past hard start, so let's dive right in. Starting with my thanks. This is not an easy thing to do, week after week, month after month. Even as much as it is an escape from our everyday, there is some labor involved, some effort, and I value each and every one of your efforts. Thank you so very much. This, in case you guys didn't realize it, is in fact All of Us Sinners Season 2. So, which questions, suggestions, hypotheses, or errant assumptions do we have that we can clear up and prepare to immerse ourselves in this world, darkly glittering as it is? Okay. Does everyone remember exactly where we were? What had gotten our characters there?
Oh, but we weren't going to Brooklyn.
Nominally, no. The difference between Dumbo and Brooklyn is one of exponential leagues. While there's no place like Manhattan, it is the center of the world as far as most New Yorkers are concerned. Even as proud as everyone is of their borough, even as proud as everyone is for their neighborhood, Manhattan itself is the center of the world. And while it is so very, very far across the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge, it sits in a prime triangle that is as close to Manhattan as you can be and escape the overwhelming crush of what existing in Manhattan costs you. There's not much of a difference as far as the rest of the world is concerned in regards to price and ambiance. But Dumbo is in fact the next kinda almost current burgeoning mecca of Manhattanites. It is right across the bridge. It is just a ferry ride away. It is always in action. There's always something to attend, whether it is, just getting across the bridge to Evil Twin Brewing, going to M Vietnamese Bistro, or just going down to Front Street for a slice. Right around the corner from Front Street, you got La Bagel, which is open in all hours of the evening, so you can get a New York bagel at whenever the craving hits you. It is a very happening place, a mecca of Manhattan in Brooklyn. And as such, it is completely and totally separated from the bulk of Brooklyn. You've got, the expressway there as the major demarcation line between Dumbo and the rest of Brooklyn, literally forming it up so that its nearest neighbor, the Brooklyn Navy Yards, is another buffer from what the idea of Brooklyn is. And for a realtor in a place that isn't built as high, but there still being semi-open lots and places to squeeze in and places to build atop of, it is heaven. At least that's how some people think about it. Others find the gentrification of Dumbo as one of the many signs of urban rot. More of the same, driving out the families and locals who built the place into an area to even visit, to make that touch of exoticism worth it. They feel that the commodification of Dumbo into a smaller Manhattan is just another sign of the ever encroaching evil of living in any city, let alone living in New York. So, aside from a tour down the build-up of Dumbo, and part of what you all are there for, or eventually will be there for, do we have any other considerations? Who would like to do the recap?
Picturing like we're all standing in the line and everybody else steps back. Sure. We narrowly escaped getting picked up by the Scourge. Not Scourge. The Primogens cop sorts of people, and they followed us, or she followed us back to where we were deciding to hang out for the night, and offered us a job and a proposition because we had something she wanted. And we met this really kind of creepy, vaguely lecherous Tremere who came to test out the letter that we handed him, loosely flirted with all three of us, and then got really, really mad because he found out that she called him here under false pretenses. He gave her the information that he had and then decided to head out leaving us with her. We had a couple more little discussions with her about what was expected and what would happen next, and then we went upstairs to die for the day.
That is very, very well done. Thank you so very much, because that is basically it in a nutshell. Just enough detail to wet the whistle and drive home the fact that through choice and belief, things were very nearly different. Through leaping and looking after landing, there was a very good chance that it was be the only full test of faith, and that's when it comes to an end, unrealized. And very much the illumination that there are larger, wider things in the offing that you all have become embroiled in, one hand throttling the other over and over and over. Again, Manhattan is the center of the world as far as most New Yorkers are concerned. It is a city of teeming millions. It is the most New York of New York things. And yet, strangely, with the overcrowding, the constant hustle and bustle, it is also one of the strangely warmest places, because people will guarantee to tell you to go fuck yourself at a moment's notice. And if they see something that is out of pocket, if they see something that just doesn't sit right, they will also tell you to go fuck yourself and intervene. There is not very many cities that are willing to risk their skin to butt their nose in if there's no other recourse. There's not many other urban places where the callousness is ratcheted up to 10 in equal measure with the compassion. The significance of that is not just for the living. The significance of that is also very much for the dead, for the kindred who are bound. If something's out of pocket, if something's out of sorts, they will very much tell you to go fuck yourself in one way or another. Typically, a multiplicity of languages and ways of telling you to get bent. And the vast majority of kindred in New York, having grown into their death in the shadow of all of the violence and constant strife of claiming ownership of New York, of claiming ownership of Manhattan, also have a level of, you washed my hand, you scrubbed my back, whether you wanted to or not, so I will in turn scrub yours. The prime for the coterie aspect of that is being inside once again for Lyric, and for the first time for Baby, inside Penny's haven. For the living, home is your castle, is your sanctum sanctorum, away from all of the ills of the world. That goes triply and quadruply so for the kindred. It keeps them dead. It keeps them immortal. It protects them against all of the cruel and vicious slings of not only the world, but of the kindred community. Inviting a kindred into your haven is tantamount to opening not only your doors, but your heart to them. Because the sad truth of the matter is, the fact that everyone knows and does everything they can to avoid is, enemies can never betray you. Betrayal only comes from those that you consider above the fray, that you invite into your circle of trust, that you expose your sensitive areas to, and that's what a kindred haven is. Knowing where they die for the day, knowing where they are completely at the will and whims of the world, should it break through their doors, should it surmount their walls, should it crawl through their windows during the 12 or so hours of daylight. A kindred is at their most vulnerable. They are easy pickings. And inviting someone into your haven gives them full access to you during the one time where you are completely without any tools. Even if you never use them while ambulatory, in your haven during the daylight hours, there's not even an option for you to do so. So, handling a little bit of a bookkeeping, would each of you guys be so kind as go ahead, roll your rouse for the evening, your awakening, and find if the beast has come knocking. The stress of the world, the last few hours of the previous evening did not rear its head. So no one awakens, no one resurrects with the hangover of the beast needing more than it ever does. This does not stop the beast from crawling and kicking at the mental door that you all have it locked behind. It does prevent it from escalating its intentions of escaping. It does prevent it from storming the cockpit of your mind and taking over your ship. It does keep that annoying, constant dialogue it is attempting to have with your better judgment at the same volume, turning on and on and on. So resurrecting for the evening, knowing that this is effectively D-Day, or D-Night as the case may be, what does that mean for our coterie?
Well, we do need to gather up our belongings and go meet Jude over wherever he told us to go meet him at.
Indeed.
Baby's probably wondering where the hell she is.
That is not an unfair thing, considering there is a immediate difference between baby's decor and what greets her eyes when she comes back to herself. That and the fact that there are 3 bodies in a space where normally when she dies there's only one. And her room is inviolate for most others unless of course she invites them in, and she never invites them in before sunrise. There's no passing out in her space when she dies for the day, yet resurrecting for the evening, and here in fact she is with 2 other bodies.
Erie kind of comes to herself and rolls over, opening one eye, seeing that Liz is in her house, but she remembers the fact that they were at Penny's, so just kind of looks at the other two. Shit. So, are we doing this tonight, or are we just gonna say fuck it? And then kind of slides herself to her feet and stretches as tall as she can until her spine kind of cracks, and then curls back into herself.
Well, be awfully boring if we didn't. And a little impolitic.
Well, I sure don't fucking like being bored.
So, being New Yorkers, you guys typically walk most places outside of Penny. You walk most places, you take public transportation, you take cabs and all of that. Now, here's the thing. Getting to your destination, 33 Main Street, just over there in Dumbo, takes about a half an hour, no matter which way you slice it. Taking the chances that the Manhattan Bridge isn't lock, stock, and completely backed up as per usual should make it about 15 to 20 minutes. There's also taking the F train down and around, or even taking the number 4 down and around. But either way, you'll be waiting on public transportation, then you gotta hoof it. So the question becomes, how will you all get there?
We've taken one of Penny's cars.
I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty. We didn't keep that van we stole that one time, did we?
Maybe.
I'm just figuring because if we had the van, it'd be something that Penny wouldn't give a fuck about losing if something happens and we had to leave it behind.
I mean, that's true. But, you know, the car can stay used. It's not that big of a deal.
Alright, sounds good. I guess at some point, probably in the past couple weeks since that major incident happened at Penny's, the amount of time Lyric has popped over or visited, she would have at some point maybe dropped an overnight bag with permission, so that she doesn't have to keep borrowing Penny's clothes, because they are definitely not her particular style, and she doesn't want to mess up all Penny's nice clothing. So going to her bag, she'll pick out like a pair of jeans and like a regular t-shirt, because she's not dressing for work tonight, she's dressing for a different type of work tonight.
I see. And baby, watching the happenings and decisions being handled. No assumptions, no notice, or just leave that for later.
She will probably leave that for later.
Excellent. Because, she has a lot of friends. At least people that think that they're her friends. And people that she's partied with. And people that she even frequents occasionally. There's not many places that she has a change of clothes over. Not a lot of places where she has things that are hers at places that are theirs. There's a level of casual intimacy with that ideal. So as Lyric heads off to change, or does she just bother to change right there?
I think it would be at a deference to the other two's possible comfort level. She would definitely step into the walk-in out of view and change quick, not going full out to the bathroom or anything, but just into the walk-in.
Well enough. Lyric would probably know by this point that Penny just does not give a fuck. I mean, after all, they've made out for a guy. Right? But still, they're past that whole thing.
Well, yeah, it was more definitely because she doesn't know Baby Doll that well. Penny doesn't give a fuck, but Baby might not be comfortable with me just stripping off in front of them.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out.
Aw, so modest. It's cute.
Excuse me. So, as she steps politely away, observationally away, but still present in the space, give or take, having to ask, huh? What? If anything said too quietly. Is there anything that Baby and Penny need to discuss, considering the happenings of the last few hours of their wakefulness?
Baby will take off her jacket and pull her shirt off over her head. Say, I'm gonna raid your closet there, Eyes. You got anything that isn't posh?
Of course. That drawer, basically that entire chest of drawers.
So rummaging.
So,
what is Baby Doll's etiquette at?
etiquette? What's that?
Excellent. So she has zero etiquette. What about her resources?
She strips when she needs money.
So she makes
So that would
a lot of
be
money.
a 1, Alex. Yeah.
Excellent. So she makes a lot of money, but she just burns through it just as quickly. The reason why I was asking is there's a certain wariness that one develops based on their income. There's a certain understanding that, yeah, $4 is a bit expensive for a half gallon of milk. And yeah, a 70-inch you're not going to get for less than, $500, and then you won't have any other features that other people have with smaller TVs. But it's still a big screen, so technically it'll work. You got to get you a Fire Stick, maybe one of those series or whatever you call them to plug into the TV so that you get everything else that everybody else is getting. But that's another bill. So baby is aware of price tags. She's aware of designer labels. She's aware that getting a Guess t-shirt is considerably more expensive than heading down to the Gap and picking up, 5 for $25. Or scavenging a resale shop and looking up on a Guess or Yeezy, or she's aware of those things. So as Penny directs her to a chest of drawers that is filled with everyday wear, looking at the labels, and while yeah, there's some nice band t-shirts in there, but that's a whole different level of expense, because concert t-shirts, they can go from anywhere, depending if you catch the neighborhood bar band playing, or catch something on sale through a Groupon or a scalper, from anywhere from $100 to $1,000. You're seeing all the band t-shirts. She's not exactly sure where they rate, where they actual concert t-shirts, where they picked up at a second hand. That is a little outside of her pale, though that's far more attractive to her. But the labels on the t-shirts, and the fact that they don't have tags on the t-shirts, and the fact that there is no fucking way Yves Saint Laurent made a Kiss t-shirt. But yeah, they did. And they're sitting right there in front of you.
Well, fuck me, Eyes. You want to adopt a girlfriend?
She's just going to arch an eyebrow at the woman across the room. It's an odd question.
Your fucking clothes cost more than my apartment.
Lyric seeing that she is no longer alone in the walk-in. I kind of looks behind her. She was mid pulling, I guess, a t-shirt over her head, and that would be the time, I guess, that if Doll kind of glanced up, she would see just how muscular Lyric actually is, because her back is cut, like, very well sculpted and defined. And there's like tattoos kind of like working their way down her back. She kind of leans back. If you go third drawer down on the right hand side, it's like legitimate shit we would wear.
So like the fucking slumming it drawer then.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, they still like 300 thread count Italian chic type t-shirts, but
Looks like she can afford it.
Or something like that. Maybe one day you'll get to see my vintage belongings.
Maybe one day I'll get to see more than that. That she will don something black or punk rock or somehow serviceable.
Kind of cracking up watching the interaction between them two. And she just looks at me, you know, me and her have already kissed. You might as well just get it out of your system. It just makes things a lot easier. And then she steps around, you know, and heads out of the closet.
Well, I don't want to be too forward. That would be uncouth.
To say the least. As you all have your preparation montage, everyone's suiting and booting and preparing for what lay ahead. You're not exactly sure what you're going to be walking into. Yeah, the details were painted in the broadest sense. The plan is clear. You guys know that you're effectively planting a flag, a conjoined flag, mind you, between the tower and the Haggadah in Dumbo. Which, for most who are politically aware, is akin to the Manhattan Project. It's akin to the several other failed weapons programs carried out across college campuses all through the ramp up to World War II. Certain campuses having more security than others, some aeronautics engineers with even more security, and then there's the military who supposedly had the top line security, yet more of their information was leaking through actual nefarious means and not just the intelligentsia unwilling to knuckle under to the idea that these things must be kept private from American citizens. The idea not only of planting a flag in Brooklyn, claiming a territory, the fact that you'll be helping claim territory with a member of the Haggadah is tantamount to juggling with radioactive isotopes for those who are politically aware. Brooklyn is no man's land for several reasons, none of them extraordinarily good as far as the kindred are concerned. It's the lesser of all evils, but it is still very much evil, and it very much is not Manhattan. Even the little Manhattan of Dumbo is not Manhattan. Even the fact that it is just a 20-minute hop, skip, and jump from Penny's Haven across the bridge, it is still not Manhattan. It is a definition of being exposed out on a limb and having no backup except for yourselves and your own intelligences. Normally, for those of you with political savvy and understanding, this would tantamount be to being the Dirty Dozen, the Mission Impossible team, the Suicide Squad, or better known as Task Force X. And yet, even if you're only moderately successful, your name is all but made, because you would have effectively done the impossible. Okay. So, barring any conversations in the drive over, which vehicle?
I think lyrics mostly just focus on not having a repeat of the night before, like not being followed, not weird shadow patches. That's what her focus. So yeah, she's outwardly focused.
So look, I ain't got nothing against Brooklyn per se, cause fuck, I'm from Queens. You know, we all fucking stuck up, Midtown person or nothing. But I hear there's some really fucked up shit going on over there. Like they're hunting something, or somebody's hunting someone else, or some sort of gang war shit or something. So we should probably keep our eyes on the prize. You know what I mean?
Have a big idea.
I mean, we do know that they were probably looking for a frog over there, or near somewhere over there, last night. So that's probably a problem, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So as long as we get to where we're going and focus on that and see your guy over there, we should be alright. It's weird that Jacob didn't show up. Or maybe we'll meet him there. I don't know what the plan is.
It's hard to tell.
Maybe he just didn't like the smuggling.
Oh, I assure you, he is quite alright with that. He was a little naive, though. Poor little baby.
There is a often photographed angle for the Manhattan Bridge. You can see it from most of the park ground there in Dumbo. You get the Manhattan and you get the Brooklyn, depending on where you are and how good your lens is and how clear the night is. Unfortunately for you all, tonight is not the clearest of nights. It's foggy and overcast. The river seems excited, like there's 100,000 piranha down there just beneath the waves, roiling and causing it to boil. The traffic flows as it flows, and Penny's skill at maneuvering through New York traffic, one of the very many reasons for her continued profession and her success at such. So what should have taken you all roughly about 27 minutes to get across, get through all the tolls and navigate all the traffic, takes you right at 19.75 minutes to arrive. The area very much is the smaller, slightly cooler younger brother to Manhattan. And only slightly cooler because there's still places where you can get a full view of all of Manhattan's majesty. You get to see the skyline, even with the low ground cloud cover. It rises up like the Emerald City, as if you are treated to a view of royalty that you all very seldomly do. It's hard not to be taken with just how honestly beautiful the Manhattan skyline is. A little distance and the city opens up before you. just a little distance. You are literally right across the bridge, and it seems like miles away. The darkness of the river adding to its majesty, causing all the twinkling, glittering lights of the skyscrapers and condo buildings to reflect up and off the water, magnifying all of that beauty. There's no other way to say it. Even from where you all are, roughly 2.5 streets off of the waterfront, looking straight across, straight down, well, north across Main Street, you see Manhattan. You see the center of the world. And the question is, do you all park across the street in the parking facility, or do you just park on the street itself? As you all ease north along Main Street, having made that that left off of Front, there's so very much space to park out front. There are hundreds of valets working from both the Shade Store and the Park Quick, as well as across the street you've got the miso place and the Vietnamese bistro. So everyone's hustling for parking spaces, and most of the valets have taken up most of the space. But where you all are headed, where you all are destined to arrive, there are no valets out front. The parking has been cleared away. There's signs up that the owners of the property will tow, no questions asked. And to drive home that fact, sitting in the small space between buildings is in fact a tow truck. The driver is leaning against the passenger door, smoking what looks to be the fattest, shortest nub of a cigar as he scrolls his phone every couple of seconds, looking up towards the street and then back towards his phone as he just scrolls and scrolls.
She would likely park in the garage.
Circling back to the garage and pulling into the Park Quick, you all look out. Most of the valets use the upper floors because it's easier to get out, simply because you can, run up the ramp, make it to the top floor, take the elevator if you want to be lazy, and get down and out. On the lower levels, getting in and out is a little more difficult because there's a greater chance of you backing out to someone speeding down the ramp than it is for you to escape unscathed. So you all lock up. The lower floors are predominantly empty. The sort of place that you really don't want to be empty. The ceilings are closer, the lower and closer to the ground you are. So whereas on the upper levels, you gotta stretch a little bit to brush against one of the rafters holding the floor above you up. On the first 2, almost 3 floors, you could literally touch it with your hand by just standing on your heels. No need to even stretch up on your tiptoes. It's the sort of place that is a throwback to what the buildings used to look like. It was clear that this space was at one point or another a factory. Unlike the average parking structure, which is just poured concrete, there's concrete poured atop the many slanted bricked floors that lead up and up and up to the roof. There are steel girders and beams underneath, just lightly foamed over with spray concrete. But it's clear that this building was in fact repurposed. The new built right on top of the old.
Well, this ain't
Ladies?
suspect at all. Yeah.
Right, fucking see, this is the exact type of shit I was fucking talking about.
Parking in a parking garage?
I mean, I'm down for some fucking in a parking garage. I think we got other shit to do right now. Eyes, calm down.
Well, let's go meet our friends.
There is an expectation that on an evening such as this, the clubs would be going absolutely crazy. It is just overcast enough that you think that you're alone in the world. It's just cool enough that you can get away with wearing a jacket, and just hot enough that you don't have to zip it closed. It is the sort of evening where insanity reaches epic proportions. You're sure that at least 3 to 10 police are going to be spat on, kicked, or punched. You are sure there's going to be at least 2, maybe 3 apartment fires. You are sure as shit stinks that there's going to be an uptick in the amount of people who visit the local hospitals. This is a night where New Yorkers let their hair down. This is a night where the week's frustrations come out over Cosmos or Old Fashions or, hell, unfortunately as the case may be, some hard seltzer. People will be crying in their drinks and punching outside of their weight class. This is the night where craziness is standard. The only crazy people are the ones that are not affected by the ebbing and flowing of the moon above. This is a night. So as you all step out of the park quick, begin making your way north across Maine towards your location, there is a wariness that falls over you that is a constant for New Yorkers, but only ratcheted up on nights when you know that the lunatics are out. It's ratcheted up because you are in a strange neighborhood. It's ratcheted up because you are not at home in the center of the world. You're in fucking Dumbo. And adding injury to the insult of it all, as you all cross water and reach the location where you all have been told, 33 Main Street, you all hear an honest to goodness wolf howl. And no, not the childish sophomoric attempt of someone howling like a wolf. Ho, 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 ho. No, none of that. You hear the barrel-chested unloading of one long note. And you all pause, looking west across Water Street. The traffic's flowing one way west, so you're looking, as the traffic is flowing, you're looking west because that's where it sounded like that came from. And much like Manhattan, the entirety of the waterfront for the Dumbo area is all public parks. It's all greenery. So there's some small part of your brain that registered that as you all were crossing the bridge. Some small part of you that picked up on that. And there's no small part of your brain, the entirety of it, that is not scenting the wind as you hear a full-fledged, full barrel-chested answering call from the east.
Well, that's not good. Perhaps a little pep in our steps.
The lyric was definitely listening extra hard because is that to her she's trying to, is that a natural wolf sound or a gangrel or something way worse?
Oh, it is way worse. There's a small article making the rounds And for it to make the rounds for Kindred says a lot. But it has been cataloged and detailed, and their scientists investigating. There are wolves, coyotes, wild lupines who have managed to learn and navigate the Moscow subway system. The reason why scientists are paying more attention to that is there haven't been any wild wolves in New York in, provably so, in nearly 50 years. Over the last 6, more and more reports and blurry cell phone snapped pictures of some lupines in and around the subway have been making the rounds. No one's caught them in a still or seated position. The moment someone breaks out their phone, they're off and moving, or they're getting off at the next stop, or they're encroaching on space so that no one brings their camera up. And so scientists are paying attention because, well, if the animals are smart enough to start taking the subway to get where they need to go, maybe it's time to start considering mankind as not being the apex of intelligence and civilization that they once thought. Maybe it's time to also find a way to charge them, because, you know, ass, cash, or grass, no one rides for free.
There definitely no, Penny. Yeah, that's the whole last problem. We need to be fast. We need fast.
See, this is why I didn't want to freaking come down here. It's always a fucking problem in Brooklyn.
And as if right on cue, summoned from the dread of being here, you've all arrived at the clock tower building. You've all arrived at the space between dawns till dusk and those several boarded up properties up and down the storefront of the building. Dell steps out, dressed in a much similar manner, although this suit's a little bit darker, far less, and it would have stuck out a lot less at the gathering if he had worn this suit. It's still pinstripe, but it's a nice, deep, almost completely black. Maybe it's a charcoal. Is that what they mean by that? Like, it's black, but there's a little gray. It's not completely midnight, absorb all light black, but it's close. And then that god-awful tie. It's a big, huge black and blue paisley that goes with the shirt, goes with the suit, but somehow it still seems just garish. It's clearly from an older time. It's wide enough you could probably use it as a bib at a seafood restaurant. But it has its own sensibilities about itself. Hey, how you doing? I didn't think you guys would actually make it. Come on in. We got a couple of paparazzi problems. They're trying to figure out what this is going to be. But come on in. Let me show you around. Help you guys get situated. The drive wasn't that bad, was it? You guys got here okay, yeah?
No problems at all.
Why the fuck in Brooklyn?
You don't really want to know that.
I do, it's why I asked.
No, most people ask because it's kind of like, why the fuck Brooklyn? Like, fuck Brooklyn and all that. And I perfectly, wholeheartedly agree with that. However, the projections for the real estate in Dumbo While most people believe that they have plateaued and they will not go any higher, I happen to know, I got a friend of a friend who knows a guy, with Brooklyn Heights reaching its capacity during the last local census, with the stockyards, the Navy yards, being way above capacity in terms of residential and retail space. With all the prime lakefront property and the parks, causing the capacity for retail and residential space to be as occluded as it is. This is one of the last spaces of a wide open vista. Most businesses that open here in Dumbo disappear within 2 years. One, if it's a restaurant, which means you have a high turnover rate of modular properties. And you know what that means. There's opportunity. No one else can make it work because they haven't found exactly the right formula. And guess who happens to know that fucking formula?
Yeah, but it's in freaking Brooklyn. It's like owning the nicest Walkman, you know? They fucking get the job done, but everybody's fucking laughing at you.
And that's fine. They laugh, but they also notice me. Which is the reason why I've been able to make as much money for the family as I have. And also, unfortunately, why I got stuck with this bullshit. Because while everyone considers Dumbo from Brooklyn all the way over to the Navy yards, truth be told, we are in the prime triangle of what Dumbo actually is. With Pebble Beach right over there, with Main Street Park right over there, the Empire Fulton Ferry right over there. There's access from both road, public transportation, the ferries, into this corridor to get into the rest of Brooklyn and to get out of Brooklyn. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you are aware, we've got a rabble problem. We've got a gangrel problem.
The rumors say there's all kinds of fucking problems over here.
Rumors. What are you gonna do about it? Not much really you can do. And with the Toyota already moved into Long Island City, how long do you think before they get bored of Long Island City and Sunnyside and Greenpoint? They're looking for places like this. Pretty soon they're going to be crossing the Williamsburg Bridge, and guess who would happen to have already set down the flag and all of the lovely property that they're going to get on their knees and do various things to obtain? Our goal, your goal as helpmates, to make the introductions to the local powers, make sure they know that this area is not for sale right now, and we need to make sure that this place stays safely in our control. It's prime feeding ground. I don't know if you realize this or not, but Dumbo has more restaurants and nightclubs and breweries per capita than any other borough. Within 3 minutes walk of here, you're gonna hit 15 different restaurant concepts. Within a 5-minute walk of here, you're gonna get everything you need to beautify yourselves. All of the face, the skin, the hair, all of that. In that same amount of time, you're gonna get gyms, you're gonna get hospitals, you're gonna get a theater, well, technically 4, but only one of them's decent, and you're gonna get outlets, power supply companies, you got fire department, and you got police far enough away to be close enough to call and far enough away to get away with whatever you need to get away with. 7 minutes further out, and you get the housing project. So you got the urban blight to make people think that it's a rough and tumble area, and yet feel safe enough to spend their money. And if push come to shove, you got the bridge, and you got Brooklyn Bridge in both directions to make a hop, skip, and jump back across into Manhattan, and gives the idea of safety and the hint of danger. We will make a mint.
Yeah, I get it. It's like a regular fucking Burger King over here, but I don't fucking get it. It's greasy.
It is. Which is why I wanted to ease you all into this thing that we're doing. Give you time to get your feet wet, get your confidence up. However, unfortunately, there's other considerations that have decided to stick their nose in. I know you've all seen all of those valets up and down the street, right?
Yeah.
There's 4 different companies working under one umbrella. And I know you know what that means. You're a rabble, right? You really are. Like I thought you might have been. I'm not entirely sure, but you are, right?
I'm just fucking me, you know.
Yeah. So am I. I get that. We are individuals, but I mean, like your blood that gets you this side of the cemetery. It's one of them, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure how plugged into your particular family you are, but you know that the rabble, the Bruja as it were, they got a center of power over there in Brighton Beach. And it doesn't mean much of anything to anybody because nobody fucking cares. It's Brooklyn, who cares, right? Unfortunately, one of the rackets that they are running is unionizing the valet companies. This is their test market for them to move across the bridge into Manhattan.
I thought we were smarter than that. I'm not sure what sort of uproar they're gonna cause if people gotta park their own fucking cars.
Exactly their point, as far as I can tell. I ain't got nobody on the inside. I'm only able to go based on what I've seen and the word on the street. Unfortunately, with them bringing that racket, with this the test market for their racket, if they are successful, it will definitively go across the water. It will eventually crawl its way into Manhattan. And you know, if it settles there, it's only going to get worse for everywhere else. And it's going to cut into potential profits. And it's also, unfortunately, going to get in the way of several other things. You know, the Park Quick down there?
Sure.
That's my company. The family's company, technically, but I cook those books. This thing with the valets is going to cut into that. Because if all of the valet companies are negotiating with the same strong arm, what do you think we're going to have to do?
Park our own fucking cars?
Go up on the price?
The companies?
Yes, that is the way that we would like to go. But, you know, not for nothing, but you know, the Bruja could be fucking hard-head. Difficult even. No offense, but
I like to think of it more as, you know, unconventional fun.
I'm sure it's fun for somebody. And I think I may have found a way out of it. Kinda, sorta. Put the kibosh. Negotiate a little bit of a peace of sorts, or at least buy us some protection from that. If you all are willing to put in a little sweat equity.
So you just want us to go down and talk to some brouhaha on Brighton Beach, is what you're saying?
Politely, of course. There's this, I don't know what you call her, political representative, senator, whatever, I don't know, Malena. She's the top kick of the brouhaha in the area. Her and Torque, but Torque's down there in the Bronx, and so it makes it extraordinarily difficult to have him reach out and across like that. And while his crew is bigger, Richter's crew ain't exactly the smallest either, and they're all that way, down in the Bronx. Some of them are up in Queens, but we ain't gonna know about that. So, I was hoping that you all, being plugged as you are with the tower as a whole, just so that I don't have to invite or invoke the Don or Bez or Cat involved in what we need to do any more than I'm already indebted to them. Maybe you can speak to this Marlena, get her to extend some of her muscle and keep them off of our backs.
Well, you think their eyes, you get plugged by the tower all the time, right?
No.
Hearing, watching between the two of them, and look back at their so-called kind of boss, I guess. And so that's one way of doing it, and we could probably try that again. But have we thought of maybe just making it not profitable for them to be here? Or
what are we gonna do? Drive out all the other businesses?
taking that one kind of shrug.
I'm all ears for ideas.
I mean, if your valets keep going missing, nobody's gonna go work for you.
So what are you saying? We want to go murder a bunch of fucking car jockeys? Cause I don't know if I'm down with fucking murder spree.
I do tend to avoid those.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily killing. You just rough them up a bit, but I guess, you know what? You're right, it's probably better to do things the polite. Smooth a bit.
Right, you punch the thing in the head or whatever they say.
You mean cut the snake off at the head?
Sure, that sounds kind of violent, maybe a little dirty, but yeah.
So no ideas except for what? We're gonna either close all the businesses or make the valets disappear?
I'm not sure what about us impresses you that we're some sort of think tank.
What do you mean? One, Sawinski all but handpicked you.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure about her. I mean, maybe we still had the Tamir that fucking Eyes is smuggling. That might help a little bit, but who knows where the fuck he is, off doing some freaky wizard Hogwarts sort of shit or something.
I'd assume as much myself, but Sawinski literally said that it was penultimately important for me to bring you along. And that you would, having you there would all but assure that we wouldn't have to go through with it. And if it did happen on that 1 to 2% chance that we had to go through with this stupid plan and get this for the dual joint first affiliation between my family and the tower, so you all would be the kindred for the job.
This is why I do not have political ambition. Because those who do always fuck everyone else. And not in the fun way.
And with that, he sits on one of the crates from the daytime contractors who are working on the interior of the building. It's still in a state of disrepair, and it looks as if it'll be that way for at least half of forever. But as he sits and tries to come up with a plan, because finances, moving one bit of money from one thing to the next to increase the inherent value is where his genius excels. The actual operations of such is a little bit beyond him. He makes money. He is only concerned about the finances and how to make sure that they are extraordinarily profitable. The actual boots on the ground is not his forte. And that much makes itself abundantly clear because he's sitting in a dark suit on a dust-covered milk crate inside of an unfinished series of buildings and businesses. There's enough space inside the clock tower building for 5 to 10 businesses. It could be its own veritable indoor mall. Yet it seems to have one goal in mind, one business that they're building this for or towards.
Let me put this in perspective. You have the muscle, and she will gesture to Lyric. You have Miss Ragey Pan over here, and you have a driver.
I'm sorry, who am I?
You're Miss Ragey Pants.
Don't know that I like that.
Does it make you angry?
I mean, not in like a fucking hawk sort of way. Do I look like I'm turning fucking green?
Hard to say, but I think you would look good with green hair. You've got the complexion for it.
I fucking look good in everything. So I didn't go to college or nothing, but let me see if I got this straight. So you are running some businesses here in Dumbo, and these valet fucks are fucking with you, and they are run by the Bruja, and you want us to make it stop.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's exactly what I said.
Yeah, but you use like all these other words and stuff, and it just got, it was too hard to follow. And to be fair, if you keep talking, I get bored and start thinking about other things.
Don't take it personally. She does it with everyone.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I
no
don't think a
offense.
person. She reminds me of my fourth wife. We had a really fucking good time. We never really had to talk because one, I knew she wasn't listening, and two, well, I didn't really care for what she had to say either. So it worked out for a while. Best 6 months of my life.
Well, let me see. Do you know which auto shop they typically use to repair their fleet?
Absolutely not.
When they got their own mechanics,
Most of the
Isn't
ballet
it like-
companies do.
isn't it more cost effective to have somebody on staff?
Typically, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't outsource with a contract if they don't have the space.
I mean, we could just go fucking talk to Marlena. That fucking La Sombra bitch wouldn't like that. And you know, if we can rub some people wrong while we're at this, I'm all for that.
My dear, you rub everyone the wrong way.
Oh, that's not what they say.
Well, see, that would be the good way. That's an entirely different situation, my dear.
Is there really more than one way? I thought it was. But anyway, so I can get you all information as to where Marlena might be. It'll take me a few minutes, a couple of calls, and a little bit of waiting. But I figured, thing is, she's like the boss of you guys, like the top of the top for you guys, making a name for herself and building you all into something within the tower again.
I mean, we're not a lot of fucking followers and stuff, but yeah, I guess so. You know, we rebel against ourselves rebelling. It's just a thing.
Okay. I'm sure it works for you guys. I'm sure that, you know, what happened to Van der Weyden would never happen to you guys.
You know, it's like the fucking music scene. You know, there'll be a band that's hot shit, and then as soon as they get a fucking record deal, now everybody fucking hates them. It's that sort of thing.
No, I get that. I fucking miss Nickelback.
Maybe you will resist the urge to laugh at him.
I mean, Imagine Dragons ain't bad, but they're definitely no Nickelback.
Holy shit, dude, I need to fucking fix your iPod.
Why would I use the iPod? I got the fucking Zoom. You can hold twice as much music, and it lasts for twice as long. It's a much better product.
You know, it's like Band-Aid. It's a fucking brand name that covers everything. You know, like you go get a Coke, even if it's a Pepsi.
Nah, Pepsi's never okay. I much prefer RC, but it's such a hard thing to get. But don't worry about it. So give me a second. I'll head out to the car. I'll call up a few folks. Make yourselves to home. Pick out an office for yourselves. There's nothing really going in here for at least another 3 years. So we can use this as our center of the empire, as it were.
She nods with a smile, and then as soon as he starts to walk away, she says very quietly to the other two, "Fuck, I don't want to claim no space in Brooklyn."
And because that sentiment is so very apropos and it is so very accurate, Adele leaves out of the back, the door closing behind him with a good hard slam. You all have a few moments to consider what the space could be, might have been, and might one day be again. It is a local landmark. The clock tower building goes back to early New York. And there's been one big to-do in the building after the next. But you are still, in fact, not in Manhattan. You are still, in fact, miles from home. 20 minutes doesn't seem like all that much. But if you had to run it, that'd be the longest 20 minutes of your own lives. And as he steps out, leaving you all more than a few moments to speak amongst yourselves, it is 56 after the hour. Let's be back here at 6 after.
It's good.
All right, folks, how we doing?
I'm here.
Chicken soup is amazing.
I will take your word for it.
Yep.
Do you not like chicken soup?
I do, but I'm spoiled. I like making my own.
Who said this wasn't homemade?
Because you didn't say the chicken soup I made. You said chicken soup, meaning in general. So you purchased it from some store or restaurant, or maybe even from a can.
Well, see, it's because I didn't make it. One of the partners made it. So
Aha.
it's still homemade, but I didn't make it.
Uh-huh. So, while you ingest your chicken soup for the soul, and the three ladies of the coterie have a relatively quiet moment, because there is a difference in the room when they are alone versus when there's any other person present, when there's any other kindred present. It changes the camaraderie sounds of even their silence. And in this moment, with the room taking on the sounds of the usual, because unlike many of your peers, you all typically don't blush. You all typically don't tempt the beast for small rewards, as for the most of your nights in the last recent few have been in each other's company or in the company of the dead. There aren't many annoying living sounds, no susurrous rush of blood in the veins, no annoying inhalations of air, or the wet slick click of eyes opening and blinking. There's just the silence of your existing in this moment. Even the muffled sounds of outside don't quite intrude into this quietude. And here you all are, in Dumbo, which might as well be on the moon, with a task ahead of you all, a task being laid at your feet to accomplish. The how is the question. The what, the definitive state of what is needed, having been outlined and pressed against and looked over and turned over like some horribly razor-sharp gem, there's still a decision at play. What will you all do to accomplish your goals?
Well, while we have time in there by themselves, Lyric will step back a bit and look at the two of them. Don't freak out, okay? And she turns herself into her animal shape, dropping to the floor on all fours as a fairly large brown bear. Because she wants to go. She doesn't get to do this often. She doesn't get to change into a bear inside a building often. So she's going to explore a bit on the first floor, wherever they're at. Like make a circuit, but as a bear.
Oh, what the actual fuck?
That is a handy trick.
Did she just turn into a fucking bear?
He sure did.
Why the fuck would you do that?
Why wouldn't you do that? If you could.
Because you'd be a fucking bear.
I'm failing to see the problem.
I mean, it's probably alright if you're out looking for some picnic baskets. But other than that, what are you gonna do as a bear? Maul someone? There ain't nobody here to maul but us.
She will point to her nose. Like, you can smell pretty well.
And that's pretty much what Lyric is doing. She's sweeping along the corners of the baseboards on the floor, like with her nose. It's probably pretty hilarious to watch. But yeah.
She's sniffing around over there. I thought they shit in the woods.
I mean, that's also a thing that bears do.
Do dead bears shit in the woods? Are there vampire bears? Like, if we buy a bear, could it be a vampire?
I doubt it.
It's funny. There are purportedly gators, crocodiles in the sewers, and rats as big as the average NFL lineman's arm in the sewers, and wolves in the city, some on the subway. There are crows and ravens who have been seen stealing valuables. There are pigeons who flock together and harass New Yorkers. There are seagulls and cranes out near the shoreline at the docks. There are bats in most of the older buildings. Some people saying they are large as a toddler. And unfortunately, because you all are in fact New Yorkers, you all have been privy to the news, the gossip, and the sightings purportedly of bears in Central Park. There's a difference between gossip and seeing it up close and personal. Because there's no way, no doubt in your mind that putting 1 and 1 together to get 36, that Lyric has not been the source of some of those sightings of bears in Central Park. Knowing that she can, you're sure that there's guaranteed to be others who might as well. And as the overly large Ursine member of your coterie snuffles and sniffs and snorts and very much looks as if they are the non-cartoon version of Yogi Bear on a cocaine bender, the white settled dust of the contractors and construction workers' efforts sticking to the fur, working his way around the nostrils and plumes and clouds of dust as they trundle. You've never seen a bear go bug-eyed. Not that you've ever been close enough to see a bear outside of the zoo, but you've never seen a bear go bug-eyed, because as sure as bears shit in the forest, they have found something.
Are you okay over there?
Are we sure it's not a bear that turns into lyric?
Realizing she can't talk to them in bear shape and tell them what she found. She doesn't quite know what she found yet, but found something and she will change back.
Changing the tearing and shredding of clothes is not a consideration, because in that moment, moving from one form to the next, as much as you maintain a semblance of control over yourself, there is some cold bestial aspect that makes it not a concern. Even on your best day, clothing and the like isn't a real consideration. However, shifting back, the absence of those clothes does suddenly become a consideration. The popped and discarded boots split open from the wide shifting of your legs into the back paws of the bear. The bracelets which you had previously been wearing, able to stretch, are only able to stretch so far. The t-shirt which held you firmly and showed off your abs without having to be ostentatious about it, while it's still made of stretchy cotton, doesn't stretch that far. And we won't discuss the shredded tatters of your leather jacket, which is now nothing more than a grass skirt that was once formerly a leather jacket.
I thought when gangrels shift, their clothes go with them. They just can't carry anything. She would have never just. Oh shit. Sitting there and just like, fuck, I forgot. But, no. Okay. The thing is, the dust, that's all, look, she's like, pointing to the dust. Bones. It's not construction dust. It's bones, and this whole place smells like fucking blood, and it's human blood. This whole fucking place is a graveyard.
The back door slams as Dell re-enters. You all won't believe this. Am I interrupting something?
I mean, isn't having sex in a graveyard a fun event?
Not normally, and you guys aren't related close enough. At least I think you all were related based on, skin tone and complexion. But hey, whatever floats your boat. I won't judge. At least not while you're here.
No one told me we were having sex. Are we doing this?
I suppose not at the moment.
So it's not what it looks like. Okay, we will go with that. Not gonna ask. Not gonna. Yeah. Okay. And what do you mean by graveyard?
You're deaf?
Are you fucking with me right now? Look, like narrowed eyes. You mean to tell me you can't feel and or smell that?
Feel and smell what? What? You fucking kidding me? So you're saying that this place is built on top of some ancient Indian burial ground? That explains why we got it for a song and a dance. But they're all dead. What are they gonna do?
I don't know if they're necessarily Native Americans or not, but I'm just saying there's a lot of human death and dust and bone dust and blood smell, and I don't understand how you don't fucking feel that or smell.
I hate to bust your bubble, but that whole rumor about we gotta be all the clan of death ain't necessarily the truth. Everybody can't do that spooky mumbo jumbo, summon up zombies and what have you. That's not particularly my forte. That's one of the reasons why Lewinsky clearly had it in mind to bring one of the Tremere along with. Yeah. Well, that's another fucking thing we gotta deal with. For now, I gotta change the clothes. It may be a little tight around the bust line, but I'm sure you should be able to fit into it. Let me go grab that from the car. Fuck's sake, getting naked, talking about ghosts. This is not gonna fucking work at all. The fuck. And the door slams again as he steps back out.
I don't like none of this. I want to get the fuck out of here.
I should probably wait for the change of clothes because I can't go walking around like this. And this fucking second pair of boots I ruined. Fucking, at least this wasn't my favorite leather jacket.
I mean, maybe it helps solve that fucking valet problem if you go outside. I don't get why.
Hits lyric.
I don't get why the valet.
Bear in
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. The randomly hits lyric that she was a bear in stretchy pants and a t-shirt with boots on her feet at one point, and it just makes her lose her absolute shit.
Maybe it's just me, but I don't understand why this valet thing is such a fucking problem in a city when no one fucking drives. It might hurt the fucking tourists or the rich girls like fucking eyes here, but most of us go and take the subway or fucking cab anyway.
Is a good question.
Something don't add up. And maybe, you know, I was never real good at math, but maybe it's alright. Maybe it just don't add up because I'm stupid.
Maybe it has something to do with gentrification or something.
That being the case, would you both, having raised the issue, have made it a more obvious consideration, would you be so kind as to roll either your wits plus politics or your intelligence plus streetwise? Your DC is S3. One plus one should be two. Should be a nice, easy thing to approximate. And ignoring the reason why you're here, it is in fact quite obvious. Dumbo is not Manhattan, and while most of Brooklyn, most of the boroughs do in fact use public transportation, but if you were to take over all of the valet companies, if you were to unionize the valet companies, much the same way that the delivery drivers have unionized, much the same way the plumbers have unionized, much the same way as the police, the fire department, most nurses have unionized, you're able to tax the city at large and make quiet demands which are perceived as requests. It's so polite when the unionized members of society decide to take a month off, a week off, 3 weeks off, 3 months off, or in the case of the last nurses strike, 6 months, 5 days to get their demands met. And most people don't think that all of the excess income that comes from the valets making arrangements with parking facilities. Most people don't think of all of the money that slides from one company to the next so that the valets can use their outlots. No one thinks about all of the money and all the secrets the valets are in fact exposed to on a nightly basis. They are in your cars. They are having access to your homes and your condos via keys. They are able to rifle through your things without you ever noticing they've done so. It is a backdoor push to gain access to all of those rich elite individuals, such as Penny, who make use of their services, able to plant or divest or otherwise gain access to while putting the city, and by extension the kindred of the city, on relatively short notice. Eyes and ears everywhere, while being absolutely nowhere. Which makes sense why they would use the outer boroughs as their test market. The outer boroughs as a practice trial run.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just go talk to Marlena. That's all I got. Don't want to fucking, I don't know, murder people, do any drive-bys or nothing.
No, of course not.
I'm more of a lover than a fighter.
Needs to say, the back door opening and closing once again is becoming a regular occurrence as Dell returns with a gray on gray pinstripe suit with a coral salmon colored shirt with a matching gray paisley tie. It, much like the one he's wearing now, is in fact a 3-piece. I'm sorry about that, but I couldn't find any shoes that may fit your. You know, I wear a 10 and a half, so you know that's what 14 in women's or something like that.
Something like that. Do you happen to know anyone who's... Go ahead.
It's fine, I'll just make it work. And she takes the clothing and, like, steps off into a corner. She's already showing them the goods, pretty much, so there's no real point in trying to...
Do you happen to know anyone who's decent with technology?
What do you mean by decent? We ain't got the same handoff. We ain't got the same hands-off thing, you know, you Taoites have.
More curiosity, because it occurs to me that the average people aren't going to be using valet services in the city.
No, just the folks that go out the club, like the big expensive folks that go out the club. And as you see, they're taking up all the space and all over the place over here.
But what do you have access to if you're driving someone else's vehicle?
What do you mean? Like, what do you get? I don't know. Put the change in the middle between the seats. I don't know. What are you getting at?
A title, information on it. You also have a nice secluded area to put trackers in.
You mean like them Tide Pods the kids were swallowing and using to track each other with?
I'm sorry, children were doing what?
Like they were eating the pods and putting them on people's cars, and people were finding them all over the place.
I think those are two entirely different things. Like in spy movies, those trackers.
You know, like a bug.
Yeah, like the feds. Like the Tide Pods, the kids were eating and then hiding in people's cars and putting them. And some lady found one attached to like her what was that? A Kia Soul or whatever it was she was driving. All over the news. Like, beware of iPod trackers. Like the Tide Pods, you know.
No. The Tide Pods are like dishwasher things, like soap.
So why were they saying they were like the Tide Pods, the iPods or whatever yeah.
Because they sound the same, you know, Tide Pod, iPod.
But regardless, it gives you access to track a person's comings and goings. And a substantial amount of information.
So the Brighton Beach rabble are setting up an information network. So Marlena's Peoples is trying to get the dirt on people.
Do I know for certain? No. But it's a likelihood. Access is access after all. Or, you know, why couldn't a valet take a little joyride in a car and, say, rob a bank?
They still doing that? Robbing banks, that is. It used to be very lucrative back during the, 40s and 30s and 50s and 60s and 70s and the 80s. It kind of died out in the 90s when the old folks started keep doing it, but what do you expect? You know, you get good at what you do.
Or robbing anything else, I suppose. But yes, there's many things you could do with the vehicle while you have possession of it without the owner potentially knowing. Unless they're very meticulous about tracking their miles.
You can do that? Fuck. This world is really moving past me. I probably need to get my head out of my calculator every once in a while. So luck would have it, there is a meeting between Marlena and some gangrel big to-do over at the Empire Fulton Ferry. They should be there at least for another hour or two. So something they need to work out, supposedly. I asked around and got you guys permission to show up.
Wait, do you need permission just to show up places? Because I've been fucking that up.
You should have permission before running into somebody else's private meeting that no one's supposed to know that they're having. They're gonna be over by the carousel out there.
So what do you want us to do? Just say, hey, stop fucking with the valets. You're gonna hurt the fucking Giovanni business.
I'd like to keep our name out of it officially, but you guys are the business interests for what's happening over here, and you're seeing to your investments, and it would be most beneficial, especially with what you know about what they're planning, for them not to come at you so that you don't have to spill the beans.
Dude, I'm wearing someone else's t-shirt that don't even fucking fit. You think they're gonna believe that I got fucking investments in Brooklyn?
I mean, who doesn't have investments in Brooklyn? Most of them never pan out, but, you know, who doesn't?
That's a very good question.
I trust you all to take care of that. You guys, you come highly recommended, and despite what you're saying, you're saying exactly what I would say if someone asked me, like, have you ever cooked a book? I don't know what you mean. I don't have any talent with doing such a thing. I would never even think about cooking someone else's books.
Alright, Eyes, you're gonna have to take the lead on this one, because obviously Lyric and I ain't gonna pass as fucking investors or people with fucking portfolios, so we your girls who beat people down, I guess.
I'm good with this as well, if that's, you know, the route you all want to take. I don't know if that would fly. You know, you are meeting Gangrel and Bruja. It may get a little dicey, but I trust you all to take care of those things as you need to. Because, you know, you guys know each other better than anybody else, right?
Right, we don't want to come in like all fucking heavy, because then we'd be in a scrap. We don't want that, because there'd be more of them than us. So if I need to do some talking, I can, but I think Eyes ought to take the lead on that, like she's the boss lady. Of course, you know, they fucking know me, so I don't know if that's gonna work either. Maybe we ought to just come correct.
Hey, I'm for whatever makes this the easiest thing for us to get what we need, for them to not to get the thing that they need, and stay out of our way. Because, well, at the end of the day, it is our way. We are in this together. No matter how you slice it, this needs to be.
Well, you know, I just want to throw it out there that if I'm coming up with the plan, we're already fucked.
And he cuts a quick look over to Lyric, who's dressed now. You mean you wasn't before?
Well, I mean, it's been a few days, but
Kind of gives him an eyebrow raise. Like, what is he getting at? But basically, she's left the jacket open, done something or other with tying the shirt, like a little belly shirt, making it work the best she can. And she's kind of wrapped the laces around her boots so that they stay on her feet the best she can. So yeah,
we'll check you out. You look like some sort of gangster in a porno.
Very handsome.
I mean, I meant that like in the best sort of way.
just put together. Like, just smiles to get. It's fine. I get it. It's all right. Are we gonna do this?
I suppose we should go.
Yeah. Just, I guess, scrap all the fucking plans. We'll improvise.
I like that. Very good of you. So it's long enough that a couple hours at the outset, if you guys, run through a little trouble here, you should be able to make it back here perfectly fine, and we can finalize like the split that we'll be taking from the profits from our burgeoning relationship. Should I say good luck? Don't break a leg, or do you? Are you supposed to break a leg to like get in the cast? I don't know. I don't have any associates that I would hope are successful at what they need to do. So I don't typically offer congratulations or anything like that. What should we say like when we break apart? So you guys are gonna take care of business. The good luck, or is that bad luck? Or should I say break a leg like on the stage or what's the other one that I heard? Knock 'em dead, but which kind of seemed like bad luck considering they already did. Like we already did. So
About Autobots rollout.
okay,
See, I fucking like that. That seems appropriate.
okay. Well, let's do that. All about rollouts. Like, should we put all of our hands in, or like do what the French do, kiss on each cheek, or maybe elbow bump? I saw a couple of guys doing that on the basketball. Like when they were passing each other, they bump each other elbows, or like they jump up and touch chests as well. Sometimes I don't know about that football slapping ass. I'm never really into that. You never know what someone else's hand has been.
I mean, we can do the fucking hokey pokey for all it matters. Let's just fucking get on with our lives, or unlives, as it were.
I like that. Maybe we should work that into being our thing. You put your right foot in, you put your left foot out, put your right foot in, and you shall get all about. And he walks out the back door, assuming that you all know how to get to the carousel. There's the hokey pokey. And then he stops at the back door, turns around. Oh, yeah. All the bots roll out. And waves with his off left hand before he exits back out the back door. And turn it all about. Do the hokey pokey. And slam.
I don't fucking know about that guy.
Who does?
There is something decidedly uneasy about this moment. There is a power to words. There is a benediction of sorts involved in saying something out loud to the cosmos. And none of the right words were said. none of the glaring aspects of an oath being sworn to mount an expedition. None of the power words of actual good chance or good favor were actually spoken. And while normally that's not a consideration, normally it isn't. Most people don't go to work with a prayer or a benediction for their good day. Most people don't leave their homes saying a prayer over those that leave and for those that stay. It's not a big thing more times than not. However, there is a certain somberness you all didn't realize in and of yourselves, realizing that you are effectively on hallowed ground. Effectively, you are in a place either populated by the dead after they've passed, or in a place where they had been interred. You are on a burial ground of sorts. If the dust that is literally everywhere, coating every boundary of this room and this building, as it seems, is covered in the remains of the departed, the dust of their actual bones. And therein lies the problem. Each of you have been in the presence of someone or something that has been cremated. You know that it's typically about, at the outside, 2 pounds to, if there was more than one, maybe 5 pounds of dust. 5 pounds of dust in a room this size wouldn't cover a corner, wouldn't cover an edge of a wall. Dust, of course, being, made of silicate particles and what have you, is extraordinarily light. It's extraordinarily undense. It's not something that takes, generally, unless of course held in a particular shape or bound by a container, doesn't have much mass. So it blows and shifts and moves and has a life of its own, but it does not hold its place or shape. So the fact that there is so much here, there, lining every line of boundary with the outside, makes this very much a place where easily a baker's dozen of souls, easily several score of bodies, and in that consideration, the power of words slowly creeps up out of the dark subconscious of each of you all. You all agree to do a thing in the presence of the bodiless dead. You all agree to do a thing effectively surrounded by witnesses from beyond. You all agreed to do a thing in a place where the dead are being used as part of the construction material, because there's no way that dust came from anywhere else. That had to be imported, had to be brought here, had to be, right? It's not like they would kill that many people, immolate the bones and bodies were in this space, right?
Who knows what they get up to?
Lyric isn't particularly a very religious person, but her family line from before she was dead, they tend to be on the religious side. So there are certain habits which are ingrained. She'd probably cross her.
Baby just watches the other two quietly.
there's a lot that can be learned in watching and listening even, because the human body rebels against actually lying. It's a practiced skill to lie effectively, and even in the lying with skill and practice, the body still gives itself away. There are still small things, like you can't help but tell the truth. As much as you try not to, the body will give it away, whether it's an unconscious shake yes or no when you mean the opposite, whether it's a furtive glance aside, whether it is an immediate wish to exit the area, whether it is telling the truth as a joke. It's hard, even for kindred who have decades, centuries, years to practice. People tend to always give themselves away, tend to always err with the body of telling the truth. So there's a meeting they get to. A meeting to crash. And how would you all think you would like to do that?
Well, I assume our chauffeur is going to drive us.
Probably.
You know, it occurs to me as we're figuring this all out. Didn't he say that that's exactly what a person who did a thing would say? Like, I'm not a spy. That's exactly what a person who is a spy would say. Something like that. You get what I'm getting at. The thing is, he said that he doesn't understand all that hoodoo, dead people thing, and he seemed very nonchalant about the whole situation. That this place is basically a fucking graveyard.
Nah, this whole thing is a fucking giant ass gangbang. I don't fucking want no part of it. I don't like being fucking errand girl. The fucking, whatever the fucking name is, the Sombra chick, she's fucking with us, and then he's fucking involved somehow, or he just fucking us from another angle. And, you know, I don't fucking like any of it. But I don't know why we're fucking doing it, but here we are doing it, because I guess we don't feel like we've really got a fucking choice. But I mean, what are they gonna do, make fun of us?
I think the lady that we met last night pointed out very much clearly what could happen to us if we fail. The guy that put us in this situation in the first place makes people motherfucking disappear fairly easy. So I think that's probably what's gonna happen. If we don't go along with this somehow and we don't make an honest effort of some sort, or don't seem to be making an honest effort of some sort, we'll probably disappear.
Yeah, but if they're fucking around and just playing games, aren't they gonna fucking make us disappear anyway?
It bears pointing out that the same woman who approached us is the same woman that he said approached him. You know, with the Chinatown business.
Yeah, right. He did fucking say that.
Also occurs to me that we probably shouldn't be standing here talking about this because I don't trust that he doesn't choose like motions around them. All this shit.
Yeah, let's talk about it in the fucking car.
Well, shall we go?
So you guys quietly make your way back to the car, pulling it out of the quick park and making your way over to the actual waterfront. Some of the priciest land everywhere in New York. Even here in Dumbo, in Brooklyn, some of the priciest land. And typically is taken for municipal use one way or the other, or federal use, because, well, they're the only ones that can comfortably afford the bill to maintain it. Not that there's much maintenance that they actually do. Yearly this, quarterly that, biannual this and that, just to keep things operational enough to not cause an immediate huge eyesore. Every once in a while have some photographer come out to take a picture to see if there's anything that really needs work. Otherwise, that'll slide next year. We'll handle that annual thing next annual year. All of that to say, as you all make it to the waterfront, to the greenery that the municipality has maintained, there are certain signs of the usual urban decay. The Ferris wheel is in fact a tourist attraction. Luckily for you all, the park, most parks outside of Central Park and a few others, close promptly at 10. It's illegal to be in the park, so most people don't even bother, because why give the cops an opportunity to write a free ticket or a free citation? Take more money out of your pocket for the city that clearly don't love you. Not because it's illegal, but simply because it's just too pricey to do for most people. I can't get, 3 of those $50 citations on the low end, or 3 of those $150 citations for just being in the park, but just taking the beauty, go fuck yourself, fuck this city, fuck you too. At least that's how most people operate. Which is weird, because as you all get there, as per usual, all the lights are on. The park is lit up, making it a perfect idea to take a stroll through the park, to get to the carousel, or to get to the view of the Brooklyn Bridge, or get to the view of the Manhattan Bridge. It is a trap, because if you're a tourist, you wouldn't know that the park's closed at 10. The signs are just small enough to be easily ignored, and just large enough that someone can still point to them and say, well, did you read the fucking sign? As they hand you a citation for this, a ticket for that, maybe even, hitting you with a disorderly conduct or resisting arrest before they get a chance to put the cuffs on you. And as much of a trap as it is to generate income for the city, it's also a beautiful place, even at night. The water's twinkling and gently lapping against the shore. The bridge visible, its light casting no penetration of the darkness around you, but it's still sitting out there, beautifully lit, taking your breath away as you look from the bridge to the skyline and realize how beautiful Manhattan actually is. It's almost like they're rubbing your nose in it at this point. Can you imagine having to live on this side of the bridge, having to look at all of that constantly, to know that you aren't good enough to exist in the center of the universe? Now, the one place where being of notice or mattering matters so very much more, and you are trapped just outside of its warm, crushing embrace here on this side of the bridge. It's almost as if Manhattan is laughing, saying, "Know your place, peasant." Are you attempting any stealth, or are you guys just stalking straight forward?
Hey, who's got a phone? Well, I know you fucks got a phone.
Exactly. What do you need it for?
I'm gonna call somebody and leave a message. It ain't gonna fucking help us, but if things go south and we walk into this trap and get disappeared, then somebody's gonna ask some fucking questions.
Okay, fair enough. Lyric will let her.
So she will take the phone and step away politely and dial a voicemail number and leave a message, and then she will erase the number and give the phone back.
There is a often trotted out aphorism. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. That doesn't mean much to most people. Most people trot that out as a sign that the person they're directing it at is crazier than they give themselves credit for. Normally. As you all approach the carousel, and those of you who know him recognize Declan, a second in command, as it were, beneath Tamika and her sire. And those of you in the know recognize the would-be Bruja Primogen of all of New York. And those of you in the actual know who've done your fair share of partying and your unfair share of partying recognize Stephen Clark and Lenore. Lenore owns the Opium Den, which is a rock and roll mecca of sorts. The Opium Den is where actual national headliners play when they visit New York, and where they visit after putting on a show at any of the larger venues. They'll always retire back to the Opium Den. It's got 3 stages. It's grimy, it's grungy, it's a piece of New York's past. It was once a adult cinema back during the mid to late 70s, before all of those were run out of Manhattan and run out of New York as a whole. The Opium Den immediately took over the place and turned it into a actual palace towards underground and near underground music. All of that history, both as the original silent era movie theater that it was, to it becoming a adult cinema, to it becoming the Opium Den, it's carved into the walls. The box seating where you can get the best views, economically priced, Though most people get as close to the stage as they possibly can. Those of you in the know recognize that Stephen Clark is about the only honest ministry member that anyone can ever put their finger on. He survived the wars of old, changing hands from the Sabbat to the tower back to the Sabbat, and with the Anars taking the outer boroughs. And Marlena, the would-be primogen of the Bruja of New York, the only force standing between Torque, the Baron of the Bronx, and Richter, the Baron of the South Bronx, and their crews from making sure that the Bruja name was wholly and solely unconnected with the tower. She's the moderate voice of reason, as it were. She's got a groundswell of supporters, those who didn't really want to leave the tower, the comforts therein, and the rights and civil liberties, but kind of had no choice but to follow where their clan went, because for a while it was assumed that the only good Bruja was a dead Bruja. Damn, they're worse than those cowardly gangrel who abandon us simply because they want to, roam free? Well, let the dogs have them. Fuck them. And there's no way, not one iota, not one shred of a doubt, that the meeting of such individuals in the shadow of Manhattan on the grand opening night as your acts of service to repay the debts of your sire and your agreement with her, Miss Birch, that there is any semblance of an idea of a coincidence.
Weird. And quietly watches Declan out of the corner of her eye, because she hasn't seen him in a while. And she doesn't quite know how to feel about it, but she knows this is bigger than they thought it was.
Holy shit, they'll fucking let anybody in here.
Not quite. Somebody called in favors for you fuckers to be here. What? Why the fuck are you here? I don't know why.
I don't know. Well, why the fuck is anybody here?
Well, I'm here because I gotta be here, says Declan. I'm here because, well, somebody's got to speak up for the little guy. And after
Which little guy?
every little guy, especially after what Sawinski fucking did to Wise Frog. You guys hear she sicked a bunch of fucking cowardly ass undercover kindred to try to drag him out into the open.
Yeah, I fucking heard about that.
Fucking bastards. If I can find them, I'd fucking rip their throats out. That's some cowardly shit. She should have did it her fucking self instead of trying to get somebody else to stab him in the back. What the fuck?
Yeah, she's pretty fucking oily. What else she been up to?
The same way she got ahead, sleeping around and betraying everybody. Fucking bitch.
Hey, now, let's not slut shame anyone.
I would normally agree with not slut shaming, but she's not even a slut. She's a tease. She doesn't put out. She talks a good game. So why are you all here on behalf of Donatello Giovanni? I said you guys could speak, but I didn't say I wasn't gonna ask questions. I get a fucking call from the grand poobah of all the Giovanni saying one of his guys has 3 angels he'd like to speak and whisper words into our ears.
Well, I guess he's got some fucking problems with your unionization that you're trying to put together.
Every rich elite motherfucker has a problem with unionization.
Well, no shit, but you know, that's why we're here.
What is he offering? What is he trying to get you all to do? What does he want us to agree to? I really don't want to fucking have to fight the Hakata, especially with them having ghostly spies all over the fucking place.
Fuck if I know. He didn't really say, did he? Shit. He just don't fucking like it, I guess. Yeah, I got nothing.
Mostly he has issues with the plethora of valet services coming under one umbrella in front of his building that he has recently acquired in Brooklyn.
Ain't no
Right.
Wait a minute. In Brooklyn, the fucking Giovanni got no businesses in Brooklyn.
Well, apparently Dell's got some fucking businesses in Brooklyn.
Dell.
Donatello. I guess is the same fucking person. That's who called, right? I don't know. Well, we know a guy named fucking Dell.
You mean the... Oh, fucking hell. Wait, so Donatello himself is not involved, but his bean counter is the man who ratted out the entire 5 families to the FBI. Della Ventura.
That sounds about accurate.
Sure.
He's not the rat that just sold out the 5 families. He's also technically the porn king of New York. He owns strip clubs, nightclubs, under the table brothels, rock clubs, and various others through different cutouts all over the city. Man's worth several family fortunes, and he unfortunately is a loyal soldier to the Giovannis. Even with them changing the name to the Hakata, we all know that it's still the fucking Giovannis, right?
Of course. The problem is we were, what is today's phrase? Voluntold to assist him by our beloved Arturo.
Ah, shit.
Then I don't know why What's-Her-Face is involved in all of it.
Sawinski, I told you she's a she's not a slut. She is a tease. Stop calling her that. All right. Look, I already told you what Tamika needs from you. Is that a yes or is it a no? You're not gonna force my hand. You're not gonna force my decision. I have to think about it. I will reach out. As a matter of fact, Tayshawn is still over there in Manhattan helping a few associates. He'll bring word to you in the next couple of days. Tell Tamika to keep her hat on. Yeah.
Delightful.
Okay. So, the Giovanni.
The other part is our darling Miss Lewinsky apparently decided we came highly recommended. Also, specifically Miss Ragey Pants here.
You're gonna stop calling me that, or I'm gonna fucking hit you so hard that you forget to call me that.
I thought we did the cute nickname things. You call me Fuck Me Eyes.
Cause you got fuck me eyes. My pants are not fucking angry.
But your cute little tushy is.
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's fucking angry.
Is there something I should know about between you two?
We go
We-
back.
We don't know what it is yet. You know, we're exploring our options. We don't want to put like a label on it.
Right. So you're speaking on behalf of the Giovanni. Declan speaking on behalf of the Gangrel. And my lawyer is the only one speaking on my behalf. And Steve, you haven't said a God blessed word. No, I haven't. There's not much for me to say, actually. There's a lot of moving parts, and I need to find out where everyone is connected so we know which threads to cut and which ones to allow to tie themselves to us. Your plan is 100% solid, and the fact that so many forces, so many people are willing to cross so many lines to stand in your way is a good sign that you are on the right path. However, where does that path lead? To your destruction, the fulfillment of your dreams, your wishes, your wants, is anyone's guess. I have to find out what angle they're playing, because it is clear, and then he points to you three. The tower has taken notice, and it is clear that they are willing to violate social decency and engage in actual alliance with the Giovanni. It is clear that you are on the right path because you have brought Tamika and her children into the public eye. They are willing to reach out to form an alliance, which means you are on the right path. But where does it lead is the question. Do you want to continue down this path? Because right now, the fact that they sent three people, three kindred, who don't want to be here, who are willing to hurt you and or others to achieve a goal, says a lot.
Hey, I think you're fucking kind of jumping the gun and making some assumptions there. We ain't here on behalf of the tower. Dell asked us like a personal favor to come over and talk to you. We ain't here in like no political sort of capacity.
Everything's political. There's a reason why those who don't pay attention to it hate it.
Right, but you're saying like we're some sort of envoy and like we're working for people and we're not. We're like doing a favor.
So you're working for free. Your personal intelligence has nothing to do with the actual outcome.
Well, we're doing a favor.
So you're working for free.
Your favors are currency. You know that.
Normally, yes. And what are you getting out of it?
Well, I assume we're getting a fucking favor later out of it.
Did you agree
But
to that?
we ain't taking no fucking marching orders.
So then why are you here? Why is there someone calling in a favor for you to be here?
Because we were asked to come here by Dell. We ain't here for no fucking other reason. We ain't here as fucking diplomats or none of that shit. Personally, I don't give a fuck nothing that happens in Brooklyn. The whole fucking place can fall into the goddamn Hudson.
And who put you into the service of Dell?
Dell did.
Marlena, do you see what I mean? They are willing to go to every extent, even including pulling the wool over their own envoy's eyes. You need to figure out why. What is it about what you're doing is so threatening that they're willing to partner up with the Giovanni? And
Dude, you need to lay off the weed. You're getting way paranoid.
And send them to what could have been their death. Because let's be honest, if you responded like most would in this particular situation, we engage in fisticuffs and bullets and snarling, and I saw a WB TV show where they pictured and painted every vampire as a snake-like, snarling, hissing thing. It's very much what we descend to. Because you all are not in the know. You're carrying out someone else's will without asking or ascertaining a full contract. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what you all are. You all are muscle. They called in favor to send muscle here to put a kibosh to what Marlena is doing outside of their purview. If they could find this and they're worried about this, they clearly know what you're doing in Manhattan as well, Marlena. So the decision, of course, is always yours. But, and I would have a care. Lenore, would you be so kind? I think it's time for us to disembark. Could you go get your boat ready? We need to be elsewhere fairly quickly. I'm guessing that Kadir and his hounds are not very far at all at this point. Marlena, you know where to reach me. Ladies, have a lovely evening. Or have the evening you deserve.
You as well.
I most certainly shall. Give Kadir my love.
I'll get right on that.
Baby rolls her eyes.
Twice now. Twice he has been jumpy. Baby, Penny, I know you two. I know of you two in various states. Your reputations precede you. Like a fucking calling card, actually, but you know, things being what they are. You I don't recognize, miss.
Lyric, who's, like I said, been kind of quiet this whole time, keeping her eyes on the other gang girl. Realizes she is being spoken to, so she looks at Marlena. People call me Rick, Lyric. Gorgeous.
It's a little vain, gorgeous. Okay.
Gorgeous. Like Washington.
Oh, sounded like you said gorgeous. I was like, wow, okay. Clearly you are a toreador with that sense of pride about yourself, that vanity. But okay. So, we've got two political beasts. One, and she looks at you, baby, who shouldn't be a political beast or a powerhouse, but you know, just enough for the wrong sort of people to be the right sort of valuable.
Right. I kind of fucked my way onto the stage, didn't I?
We've got a hero of wars. I do. What are you saying?
You know, what's her ass, the Zelensky or whatever the fucking name is, she's got a real fucking hate on for you. She kind of drove it into me not so subtly that I should not fucking be backing you up, because she says they got their hooks in the torque, but I don't fucking believe that shit.
They do. He's willing to play the game. I'm not. And they think by the fact that he's willing to play the game to win, that he's playing by their same rules. He may be, but just enough to get by so they don't consider him a threat. I'm not willing to play those sorts of games. If we're gonna get political power that actually matters, we gotta be willing to do what it takes to get that power, not playing their big bad guy. They're patsy when they want to stir up trouble, which is what they're using fucking Torque for, as a threat. The lawlessness of us anarchs. The fuck out of here. We're not all anarchs.
Right? Well, yeah, I was just, I was letting you know she really don't like you, so...
I don't fucking like her either.
I'm sure you are already watching your back, but from that one, I would maybe put an extra set of eyes.
I don't fucking like her either. You know how she got where she's supposed to be, right? She sacrificed Van Weyden, the Malkavian primogeniture. She fucking offered him up like a goddamn lamb to slaughter. And while he's crazy as shit, he's never actually done anything against any fucking body. I don't like that bitch.
To hear her tell it, he was simply, unfortunately, not as valuable as other people.
Yeah, she couldn't manipulate him like she's been manipulating every fucking body else. The only person that manipulates more people than her is, well, fucking Arturo, but you all know that already. So, here's the thing. I don't want you all fucking working with the Giovanni. I feel bad having to remove you all as a threat. You all have just enough political clout and associations where I could back you up, so long as you back me up. I don't want nothing from you. I'm not gonna send you on no fucking fetch quest. Just stay out of my way. Or help. What I'm doing for all of us with little or no voice, so that we can actually engage and enjoy what civil liberties that we are being promised that we don't get a chance to live up to if we constantly pawns in somebody else's fucking game.
Well, I didn't fucking bring it up before, because fuck that guy, but Arturo told us we had to fucking do this thing for Del.
Okay, fuck him. He's the goddamn harpy. He's not the goddamn prince of the city. And fuck him even if he was. Fuck that guy and every goddamn Toreador who's got their nose up each other's ass to try to play games with us. We are fucking kindred. We have fucking forever until we are killed. Why are we acting as if we only got one life? Why are we acting as if we have to be beholden to these assholes? We are fucking American. We have fucking forever. We don't have to play their fucking goddamn games. Unless, of course, you guys like being treated like patsies, sent on what should be suicide missions.
I shouldn't even fucking been there. I just got drugged in with these two.
About that, did you happen to notice who you came in with?
Yeah, I fucking came in with Del.
Oh, and what do you think that might be?
Because he almost hit me with his fucking car, and then he recognized who I was, and I'm pretty fucking sexy, so he said, why don't you come with me, because you won't make me look good.
Why do you think he may have almost hit you with his car?
Because it's fucking New York, and people can't fucking drive.
It's not suspicious at all that he coincidentally almost hit you with his car?
I mean, I suppose, but I almost get hit by a fucking car all the time.
Or you, like the rest of us, came highly recommended by a certain shadowy person.
Right, what's her ass? So maybe we just need to beat the fuck out of what's her ass.
Then you do that, you put your hands on a primogen. How do you think that's going to work out for you?
There's a reason why I drive instead of fight.
Well, I mean, I don't like to fight either, but what am I gonna do? Give her a strong dressing down?
Fucking yeah. You back my play, you do whatever the fuck you need to do. Back my play, I back your play. We catch her in Elysium and make her look stupid for once. You all were told to go... What exactly did Arturo tell you? To go assist Dell? You already did that. You're in this meeting. Your portion of whatever you agreed to, if as long as it was just to assist Dell with whatever it was that he was aiming to do, you've already done. This is a suicide mission for someone who's not politically connected. You all came anyway. You put life, limb, and your social standing on the line. Whatever agreement outside of that you may have had or been told is moot. You did. You helped him. And you know what? To make sure that everyone knows you helped him, there is an actual official Elysium being hosted by the Tremere. We can show up together and prove that you helped him. You got me off of their back. You got me away from affecting whatever it is that he's fucking doing with all of those bodies that he trucked into that building a month ago.
Eric very pointedly looks at both Penny and Baby, but
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't fucking care as long as I ain't gotta go to like a bunch of fucking meetings and I ain't gonna play no fucking Quidditch at this Tremere party. But yeah, I mean, I'm down with that. You seem pretty straightforward, and I can't hide underneath fucking Sadie's skirt forever, right?
You could try, but I'm sure it'd get a little crowded.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, last time you guys showed up at the same place. But anyway, I'm sure it's all old news for everybody here. So, that's my offer. I get you free of whatever you all got embroiled in thanks to Sawinski and Arturo. And you back my play in helping to change how we are viewed. We who are bottom rung as far as status is concerned. We who should be enjoying the civil liberties of supporting the tower, who are being used as cannon fodder and pawns for this, that, and the other. Or you just go tell Dell you were successful and you continue in his employ at the behest of other motherfuckers.
I'm in. You tell me what you need. You know, got fucking limited capabilities, and I get bored easy. But yeah, I don't want to work for no fucking Giovanni, and I don't want to deal with fucking Zelensky or Zawinski or whatever, Lewinsky or whatever the fucking name is.
I didn't know she had a blue dress, but okay, I like that. So what do you say, gorgeous?
Song.
You were saying, Penny?
That is a delightful song. Devil in a blue dress.
Yes. And what about you, gorgeous? You in or you out?
keeps her talking. It was sent to that party originally because I had requested a favor, and the favor was larger than I expected, so I got caught up on all of this. Usually I try to avoid politics like play, but here I am with this, so I also do not like the idea of being moved around the board at somebody else's behest. And as I see another of my kind here this evening, I understand maybe where the lines are being drawn. So yeah, I think it's a yes for me.
Good. Let's do this. We ain't supposed to have cell phones, but then she pulls out a literal Motorola Razr and flips it open. Give me your numbers where I can reach you. I'll let you know what's going on tomorrow night.
I typically
frowns a little bit.
go ahead.
Frowns a little bit and looks at Penny because she knows they both have phones and they are both not supposed to have.
I typically take correspondence at the front desk of my establishment, the Penny Dreadful Escape Route.
Hang on, let me see if I can look that up on Google. It's a little slow on this particular phone, but yeah, okay. You're listed in Google. I got you. I give you my number, but you guys don't have any,
Homeland.
notepads or anything, so.
Yeah, I got the give you the number. You got something to write on?
She holds up her phone. I'm pretty quick with this. I got hit the button 2 or 3 times to, do A, B, and C, but I can figure it out. What? Fire away.
She rattles off the number. Now you might get my my fucking assistant. Like I'm important, like eyes here, but they give you a message.
Okay, sounds like a plan. And the fact that she actually does immediately put you all in, even saving the number from Google, it is interesting that the most forthright being you've met has only asked that you betray your previous agreement by choice. Not this or that, nothing, no sort of Damocles hanging over your head, no threats and no attempts at being anything other than a straight shooter. It is a very weird feeling. Normally there's several strings attached. There's several insinuations as to just how bad things might be if you don't. And yet, to be perfectly honest, there is something freeing about the idea of having the opportunity of your choices mattering without someone else playing a role, without someone else twisting, turning, pushing and pulling, keeping you off kilter so that you cannot make an informed decision, so that you don't know which way is up, so that you have one way forward. There's something liberating about that. There's something shockingly appalling about this being your first choice and decision, not made because someone played you like a fiddle, not made because someone obfuscated or hid a portion of the truth, or worse yet, not because someone considered you mentally deficient enough that they could play you to whatever tune they wanted, lying to your face while telling you the truth at the exact same time. And as mundane as it is, having your numbers and your information jotted down so that they might contact you feels pretty fucking good. You're not in heaven. You're not floating on cloud 9, but you're definitely on the escalator looking up at those bright, shining gates. And on that note, I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode. And see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, all.
Night.